Have you ever felt drained after spending time with someone, but couldn't explain why? When you're over 70, peace of mind becomes more than just a desire. It becomes a necessity. You've earned the right to live without constant tension, guilt, or emotional manipulation. But some people quietly and persistently chip away at your joy. They don't yell. They don't make a dramatic scene. They just wear you down in ways that are hard to explain, but easy to feel. And most of the time, we don't react. We keep them around because it feels polite or expected. But here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table just because they've been there for years. In this video, we're going to look at 4 types of people you should quietly cut off after 70. Not with anger, not with drama, but with calm, silent distance. These are the people who bring more stress than support, more judgment than joy, and more chaos than care. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to justify your decision. You simply need to protect your space, your energy, and your time, because they are more precious now than ever before. Stay with me until the end, because the final person on this list is the one most people overlook, and cutting them off might just be the greatest gift you ever give yourself. Number 1, the chronic critic. There's a certain kind of person who never seems satisfied with anything you do. They always find something to point out. Your clothes, your decisions, your lifestyle, your opinions. Even when you try your best or offer something with kindness, they manage to twist it into something flawed. This is the chronic critic. And if you're still allowing this type of person into your life after 70, it's time to step back and reconsider. You know the type. You share good news and they respond with a raised eyebrow or a dismissive comment. You talk about something you're proud of and they find the one detail that went wrong. Sometimes they call it just being honest. Other times they claim they're trying to help, but their words don't feel helpful. They feel heavy, like a weight you carry long after the conversation is over. The truth is, chronic criticism isn't a reflection of your value. It's often a reflection of their unhappiness. Some people criticize because they feel powerless in their own lives. Others use criticism to control, keeping you small so they can feel bigger. And over time, if you're not careful, you start to believe them. You question your choices. You shrink your voice. You avoid sharing your thoughts, not because they're wrong, but because you're tired of being torn down. At this stage in life, that kind of dynamic is not just unnecessary, it's harmful. You've lived through enough storms. You don't need to justify your life to anyone who makes you feel less for simply being yourself. The chronic critic rarely changes, no matter how much patience or grace you offer, but you can change how much space you give them. Cutting someone off silently doesn't mean being cold. It means being wise. It means recognizing who adds value to your life and who quietly chips away at your spirit. You don't owe anyone continued access to your peace, especially if they've shown again and again that they don't respect it. Start by creating distance. Stop reaching out first. Limit conversations. Don't explain, just protect your energy. If you must see them, keep interactions brief and polite, but don't offer up your thoughts for their dissection. And most importantly, surround yourself with people who celebrate you, not scrutinize you. People who hear your voice and don't rush to correct it. That's the kind of support you deserve. You're not here to be someone else's project or punching bag. You're here to live with dignity and confidence. And the first step is cutting ties with the one who never learned how to see your worth without trying to lower it. Number 2, the emotional manipulator. There's a quiet kind of control that doesn't come through shouting or arguing. It comes through guilt, silence, and subtle pressure. The emotional manipulator is a master of this. They make you feel responsible for their happiness, even when it's completely out of your hands. And as you age, this kind of relationship becomes especially dangerous because it can keep you trapped in cycles of stress, confusion, and emotional fatigue that chip away at your well-being without you even realizing it. This person might be a longtime friend, a relative, or even one of your adult children. They don't always say what they want outright. Instead, they use loaded silences, vague disappointment, or backhanded compliments to make you feel like you've done something wrong. They may phrase things like, "I guess I just expected more from you," or "You always seem to care more about others than your own family." These aren't just statements. They're weapons designed to make you feel guilty, indebted, or ashamed. What makes emotional manipulation so damaging is that it's often subtle. You don't see it until you're already in the middle of it. You might find yourself rearranging your life to avoid upsetting them, hesitating before you speak, or second-guessing your instincts. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, even though nothing explosive ever happens. It's a quiet erosion of confidence, the kind that leaves you exhausted and unsure of who you are when you're around them. And here's the hard truth: people like this don't stop, because their power comes from your reaction. The more you explain yourself, the more you apologize. The more they twist the narrative to stay in control. They don't want understanding, they want obedience. And that's not a relationship. That's a trap. After 70, your time, energy, and emotional clarity are more valuable than ever. You don't have to respond to manipulation. You don't have to explain your choices. You don't even have to announce your exit. You simply step back. Limit conversations that leave you feeling guilty. Avoid being alone with them if they tend to twist your words. Keep your responses short, neutral, and clear. And most of all, trust your gut. If someone consistently makes you feel smaller, confused, or emotionally burdened, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to free yourself. Emotional manipulation thrives in silence, but so does healing. When you walk away from that energy, you're not abandoning someone. You're choosing peace. You're choosing your sanity. And that's not selfish. That's wise. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, the chronic taker. Not all relationships are built on give and take. Some are just take and take and take. And if you're over 70, chances are you've met someone like this. The chronic taker is that person who always seems to need a favor, a ride, a loan, your time, or your energy. But when you need something, they're either suddenly unavailable or full of excuses. And over time, that kind of imbalance doesn't just wear you down, it steals from your health, your peace, and your freedom. These people don't always come across as bad. In fact, many of them have learned to present themselves as helpless or constantly in crisis. It might be the adult child who only calls when they need money, or the neighbor who always just needs a quick hand with something, but never returns the kindness, or a friend who conveniently forgets their wallet every lunch outing and laughs it off like it's charming. But it's not charming. It's draining, especially as you get older. Your time becomes more precious, your energy more limited, and every quick favor you do for them chips away at the time you could be spending on yourself, your hobbies, your rest, your health, your happiness. Here's the thing: chronic takers rarely change. Why would they? They've built a system where you're the one who adjusts, who sacrifices, who bends over backward. And the more you give, the more they expect. They may not even realize how much they rely on you, because it's become normal. That's the dangerous part. It starts to feel like just the way things are. And the guilt? Oh, they're good at that too. I guess I just thought I could count on you. Or no one else is there for me. Those words are meant to pull at your sense of duty. But let's be honest, being available doesn't mean being used. And being kind doesn't mean being taken advantage of. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to say no. Not because you're being rude, but because you're being fair to yourself. Saying no doesn't require an explanation. It doesn't need drama or a confrontation. You can simply stop making yourself the solution to everyone else's problem. Maybe you start letting calls go to voicemail. Maybe you politely decline the next request. Maybe you let them figure out their own way for once. You're not being unkind. You're showing them and yourself that your life is not a resource for others to manage. When you remove a chronic taker from your life, or even just reduce their access, something amazing happens. You regain your energy. You reclaim your calendar. You realize how much of your life was being redirected by someone else's needs. And you get to choose something better. You get to choose you. Number 4, the negative soul. There's one kind of person who can cast a shadow on even the sunniest of days, the negative soul. This is the person who finds something wrong with everything. If you share good news, they find a reason to downplay it. If you try something new, they warn you of all the ways it might go wrong. And if you simply want to enjoy a quiet moment, they fill the air with complaints, criticisms, or endless worry. You've probably met someone like this. Maybe even kept them close out of habit or shared history. But after 70, that kind of constant negativity can become more than just annoying. It can actually affect your health, your mood, and your overall view of life. Studies may not be necessary to confirm what you already feel in your bones. Being around a negative person drains the joy right out of you. It's not just about being a realist or voicing concerns from time to time. No, this is about the chronic naysayer, The one who can't let a moment pass without pointing out what's wrong, unfair, or disappointing. They might dwell on politics, criticize others behind their backs, or even belittle you under the guise of just being honest. Whatever their style, the result's the same. You walk away feeling heavier than before. Here's the truth many don't admit: negativity is contagious. When you're around it often, you start to adopt some of it yourself. You might start second-guessing your decisions, questioning your value, or expecting the worst. That's the quiet damage a negative soul can do, not with direct attacks, but through a steady drip of disapproval, worry, and gloom. And here's something else: as you get older, your emotional space becomes more sacred. You've been through enough storms already. You don't need someone else's dark clouds following you around. You deserve to spend your time with people who uplift you, who celebrate your growth, who make room for joy instead of smothering it. It's not always easy to cut off a negative soul, especially if they're family or if you've shared decades of friendship. But distance doesn't always require drama. You can quietly reduce the time you spend with them. You can choose not to engage in their complaints. You can protect your peace without announcing it to the world. And when you do, something shifts inside you. Your mind feels lighter. Your days feel brighter. You find yourself looking forward instead of back. Because life after 70 isn't about tolerating what brings you down. It's about choosing what lifts you up. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. Getting older gives you a kind of vision that no glasses can provide. You start to see people for who they really are, not just how they present themselves, but how they make you feel when you're around them. And that's the kind of clarity you should never ignore. Cutting someone off, especially quietly, isn't about revenge or punishment. It's about choosing peace over chaos, healing over hurt, and growth over guilt. At this stage in life, your emotional energy is more precious than ever. It's not a resource to be spent on people who drain it, damage it, or disrespect it. You don't owe anyone your constant presence, not the self-centered taker, not the subtle critic. They had their chance. And if they consistently chose to bring confusion, bitterness, or sorrow into your life, then walking away isn't rude. It's wise. And let's be honest, this isn't just about removing the bad. It's about making space for the good. When you quietly cut off the people who pull you down, you create room for people who lift you up. You make space for laughter, support, understanding, and genuine love. I've seen too many good people waste their final chapters trying to fix what's unfixable, holding on to toxic relationships because of guilt, history, or fear of loneliness. But what if the best parts of your story haven't been written yet? Because the wrong people were still holding the pen. You deserve better. You've earned better. And the beautiful truth is, you get to choose. You can decide who stays and who goes. You can write your own piece. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.